Hello, hello, hello. It's 2 o'clock, exactly on the dot. Here we go. We have our latest craft along this afternoon, and I'm super excited to have you with me. So I'm just going to quickly go and peek at the comments because I can see quite a few of the girls are here already. So good to see everyone. I'm not going to go through everyone's names because we'll be here for quite a while, but it's exciting to see you all here. Margaret, do you get better reception on your laptop than your phone? You were just saying you were going from the phone to the laptop, so I just wondered if one is an improvement over the other. Big smart TV. I don't know how I feel about that. That's a bit intimidating. I don't know if I want to be on your big screen TV. At least it's smart, right? Right, yes, for CraftAlong it is good to have a bigger screen. I see exactly what you mean. That's a good setup. Hey there, Jenny. Hi, Sunny. Hi, Donna. Lots of people. Goodness, I said I wasn't going to go through all the names, but, you know. Yeah, hey, Judy. Nice to see you. Good. Yeah, I bet it is cold over there in Oregon. Getting that time of the year, isn't it? Coming up to... Do you have snow where you are, Jean? Do you have snow now? I can't remember. You may have told me this before, but I can't remember. I'm sorry. All right. So we've got some fun stuff today. I have lots of cards and examples to show you, and we have a really fun project to make. So for anyone who doesn't know, Craft Along is something I've just been doing for a few months. It is a once a month live crafting session. I also go live twice a week on my YouTube channel and also Facebook. So that's Friday nights and Sunday nights. That's going on Sydney time. I don't live in Sydney, but I'm in the same time zone as Sydney. So that's the Friday and Sunday nights. But once a month I do a craft along, which is a little bit of a separate thing. So it's a Saturday afternoon. So far I haven't changed it. I don't know if I'll ever need to, but right now it's a Saturday afternoon towards the end of the month usually, and we make a project together. Now, if you were a customer of mine and you placed an order the month before for Stampin' Up products and you spent $60 or more, then you got a supply pack, right? This is a supply pack that would have turned up in the mail probably within the last week. I hope everyone has their supply pack. I sent them out priority. Some went Friday, some went Monday last week or last Monday. So everyone should have them by now. And if you placed an order with me the previous month, then you received this month's project supplies to make today's project. Now, don't worry, if you don't have the supplies, you can still make the project. I'm going to talk you through some other possibilities. And I'm just thinking I may need to go and get some copy paper a little bit, because today we're using masking paper. For those of you who don't have masking paper, I'm going to show you how to do a similar effect with copy paper. So we're going to talk about both options as we go through. I understand that not necessarily everyone has these particular supplies, and not everyone has the Majestic Mountain dies that we're using today either. So I'm going to show you an alternative to get a similar effect. Let me have a little look. Yeah, Sunny, well, I know her name says she's Alison, but her actual name, she goes by Sunny Jean. So and I didn't understand why. I asked her recently, and it's to do with the Jansen. The sun has turned into Sunny. If you don't know this, Australian nicknames, not everyone has one, but if you do have one, it's usually what we would call a derived nickname. So this is a little bit of an interesting fact for you, for those of you who don't live in Australia. So they tend to derive. And so, you know, I'm trying to think of a really good example. I guess we could use Sunny as an example, but it's a name that sort of becomes something else. I used to have a friend who was super, super tall. She was really, really, really tall. And her nickname ended up being Slim, because sort of just came down from her derived nickname. But can anyone think of an example? And I know some of you Australians who are watching know what I'm talking about. Oh. I'm I'm just watching what you write. Alice Sunny. Okay, so the sun comes from the Allison, not the Jansen bit. Okay, got it now. All right, so even I had it wrong, see? Yes, we are broadcasting from the future. In Australia, we live in the future, and as you can see, we're doing okay. It's a beautiful sunny day here, and so the future's looking good for everyone who isn't here yet. So I hope somebody knows. Yes, exactly, and that's a really good idea. So someone can be called Blue if they had red hair. I mean, it's an Australian thing that they just love making nicknames that aren't they. Yeah, it's hard to describe. There's actually a guy. I'll find him for you. I'll have to post a link. He actually does a comedy routine about this, about how people ended up with funny nicknames that sound nothing like what they end up being, but if you work them out backwards, you can kind of see how it came about. So there you go. So there you go. Yeah. All right. No snow. Oh, do you like snow? You said you're hoping for tomorrow, so that means you actually like the snow. Okay, all right. Let's move on and actually get into some stuff. I'm going to switch over to my my desk phone. You can see I've got the phone up here, and I'm going to switch over to that with a little click of a button on my computer screen. And here we go. You can see that. Can everyone see that? Okay. All right. So this is the card we're going to make today. All right, and here's another variation of it, and I'll show you why this one is a little bit different, but this is actually the first one I made, and then I made this one again this morning to make sure that I could still remember how to make it. But that's okay. It's actually super easy, and this isn't this is actually a really super quick project. Okay. Oh, there you go. See, Donna said her grandfather used to say, "How you going, Charlie?" And that became her nickname somehow. Yeah, exactly. It's weird how nicknames end up being. Exactly. Oh, thanks, Anne. I'm glad you like it. Hi, Kathy. So yeah, this is actually a really easy card. So what are we going to need? I did put all the supplies on my blog. I'm going to put the blog address up across the bottom of this right now. There it is, lhiggins.blogspot.com. And there's a couple of reasons I'm putting the blog up for you. First of all, as soon as this video finishes, this live, I'm going to head straight over there and I'm going to post the tutorials that you can purchase if you wish over on that blog, so you can just click a PayPal button and buy them if you would like them. Okay, really, really easy, but I need to actually wait until this video is over so that I can put the link to this one as well in the tutorials that will be available for sale. Okay, so you'll just need to wait until that's actually it'll probably take me, I'm going to guess, around 10 minutes, maybe 15 at the most, to get all that over there on the blog. So they're all ready to go, all the tutorials. I've just got to wait for this one to finish and upload. Okay, but you can, if you wish, purchase the tutorials. If you put an order in with me last month and you got the supply pack, you do not need to purchase the tutorials. Please do not purchase them because you're going to get sent them for free, okay, as part of what your deal is. And if you're in my team, and I know we do have a few of the girls in the team here today, also do not purchase the tutorials because you're going to get them just because you're in the team. Okay, so for team members and customers who placed an order last month, you do not have to purchase them. You're going to get them automatically. I'll probably have them out to everybody, I'm going to guess, tomorrow. It probably won't happen tonight. We've got friends coming, or a friend coming for dinner tonight. And so as soon as the video finishes and I get this uploaded onto my YouTube channel, the next thing I'm going to be doing is cooking and getting the place ready for guests. Okay, so that's what we're doing. We're having a games night tonight. That'll be fun. I always love a games night. So it's a nice way to unwind. Anyone else like games? Because I sure do. So anyway, I've put the blog address there just so that you can see. This is the address that you go to see not only all the supplies that you'll need for this card, but also after the video is over, this is the place that you go to receive to purchase the tutorials if you'd like them. Okay, or you can also go there and watch this one again too. I'll have the link for it in there as well. So all right, I'll just hide that so it's not getting in the way. There we go. All right, if anyone has any questions, please just ask as we go along. Okay, because let's start talking about what you're going to need. first of all, if you have the pack, okay, this is what it's going to look like. You would have got a little note, okay, about the link to this video, the time it's on, all that kind of stuff, which if you're here, you already know that. And then all the supplies are in the little bag, okay? So let's have a look and see what's in the little bag. And this is how I send them out. First of all, you've got your card base, which is a piece of basic white thick. We have a piece of Night of Navy. Also, the other thing you need to know is all the measurements for all of the cards are in the tutorial bundle that you can also purchase. However, for the purposes of this card today, I'm going to give you the measurements for this one. Okay, so this is A4, okay, cut in half, and then fold. We're going to be folding this in half again to create the card base. So this ends up being 21 centimeters by 14.8 centimeters. Now, if you are in the US, it's going to be a piece of 5.5 by 8.5 cardstock. Basic white thick is my preferred cardstock to use for card bases. It goes with nearly everything. We also have thick and very vanilla when you need to use a vanilla base. But I always make sure I have some thick cardstock on hand because it definitely forms a better card base. Oh, thanks, Jenny. Thank you so much. If you haven't subscribed to my channel here, please do that today because by subscribing you get notified. Oh, excuse me. I had a sneeze. Sorry, and there was no way I could even warn you that was about to happen. When you subscribe to the channel here, you get notified when I go live or when I post a new video. I posted one last night. Some of you may have seen it. Just a little heads up. If you didn't see it, this is the card. This is the project that I posted last night, which is an original little card. Sort of a treat box bag kind of thing. I think it's a bag. It's hard to tell. It's not really a box and it's not really a bag. It's somewhere in between the two. So I'm going to call it a box bag. Thank you so much. I'm very blessed. This is the latest project that I put up yesterday evening, and that was part of a video hop actually, so you may want to go and look at the other projects in the hop as well, because there was some really cool Christmas ideas. Mostly they were like decorations and Christmas, things that could be great Christmas gifts, that kind of thing. Yeah, treat holder, thank you, that'll do, Jean. Thanks. All right, so I've got my Night of Navy piece here, okay, and this Night of Navy piece is 14.3 by 10 centimeters wide, or if you're in the US, it's 4 inches by 5.25, okay? And then we've got a piece that fits inside this. So if you're in the US, you're going down, for each layer, you're going down by 1/4 inch. If you're in Australia or you're in Europe or using metric, then you're going to go down by 1/2 centimeter each time, okay? Hey there, Diane, nice to see you. All right, this is a much better time for my US friends, isn't it? Much better time. So each layer fits inside. So this one is 9.5 by 13.8, okay? And I've used shimmery white, all right? You might notice it's not quite the same color as the basic white. I'm not worried about that, but the reason I chose it is because I like the fact that there is a slight shimmer to the surface of this. It's really, you can't quite see it in the video. I'm sorry about that, but you'll just have to take my word for it and trust me that it has actually got a bit of a shimmer to it, and I love that. But you could just as easily, if you don't have this, you can just as easily use basic white. Okay, so there's our basic pieces that we're going to be forming on the card, and then we've got some other fun bits that we're going to pull out and play with. Okay, first of all, I've actually used, for each person I sent out, 2 full sheets of masking paper. The masking paper that Stampin' Up has, this is it in the little packet that it comes in. It's 5 inches by 7 inches, or that's 12.7 by 17.8 centimeters. Okay, so you can see this piece here is like a full sheet. Okay, and I've cut a stitched rectangle out of the middle of it. All right, and that is actually what forms the frame that is going to go around here. That's the size of this frame. Can you see that? So I've put that in. I put in, even though we're not actually using it on the card, I put the rectangle in as well, and I'll show you why in a little bit. And then I've also, on a second piece, cut out a mountain range with the Majestic Mountain dies. Okay, now if you do not have this die set, first of all, it's a great set, and you should think about getting it because I use it quite a bit. Great for making scenes, and you guys know I love to make scenes, right? So let me show them to you. This is the Majestic Mountain dies. You can see mine are a bit everywhere. This is the one that I used to cut the piece out of the middle of the masking. Okay, it's just a kind of a full mountain range. There's some other bits. There's some cool, really detailed pine trees and a couple of pine trees that cut out because it matches up with the mountain air set. So you can see this set, even though these are not to scale, by the way. Down the bottom, I don't know if you ever noticed, it tells you what the scale is. This is telling me the images on the outside of the case are 70% of the size that they'll be when you actually use them. Okay, but what you see in the catalog is actual size. So if you're looking in the catalog, you can see mine have been well and truly used, and I've used them for lots of purple and navy and colors like that have stained them, but I'm not worried. It does not affect the way they stamp. There is one little thing I'm very sad about in this pack, and that is that my little birdies, those 3 little birdies, have decided to fly off somewhere, and who knows where. They are well and truly lost. I have not seen them for a very long time. Occasionally I have stamps that go missing, and usually they turn up again, but I'm beginning to fear that these ones are well and truly gone. They're so tiny, so tiny, little ones. Okay, they fit on a block. But luckily we do have other sets that have birdies, so if I wanted to add birdies, I could, for example, I've got a birdie here, a Waves of Inspiration set has a birdie, and that would actually be really nice on our card. We might add that later. Okay, it's a bit sad when you have one that goes missing like that. All right, so this is the one that I used to cut this piece here. All right, if you have this set, I'm hoping I'm talking enough that you have time to actually cut that out of either a piece of the masking paper if you have it, or just some copy paper if you don't, because I'm actually not going to use this with the sticky part of the masking paper today. You're going to see that in just a minute. Okay, so we've got those 2 bits. I've also got a label for adding a sentiment, such as this one. I've put enjoy today on this one here. Okay, and also a circle. Now this is the smallest of the layering circles dies. Oh, thank you, Gina. I know it's a much better time for you girls over in the US. I understand that. Well, that's entirely possible, Anita. Crumpet could have eaten them. For Crumpet fans, one of the cards that we're going to be doing in the video tutorials is this little guy. In fact, I did one of each. Look, I'm going to show you this early. All right, this is a masked card that is going to feature in the tutorials that are an additional add-on to these. And you can see it's all one piece. Okay, I've masked him in front of the basket there. This is Crumpet, and hey, look, it's Merlot. So there's my 2 pussycats. I did one of each because I felt really guilty that I'd done a Crumpet and poor Merlot didn't get his chance as well. So I've done one of each. And as I'm talking, Merlot is asleep on the floor next to me. Crumpet's behind me, but Merlot snores. But thankfully right now, if he starts again, there's a good chance you'll hear him. Right now he's not snoring. He's got a really loud snore, actually. He sounds like a freight train. He's so funny. All right. Let's pop those back in. And let's get started. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to set up my bits and pieces. So I'm going to do it first of all. I'll talk about it as I go. If you don't have the masking paper, what we're going to do instead, I'm going to start by folding over my basic white thick cardstock. So this is the card base. This is going to be folded over to create the card base. So here's a question. When you guys come to watch me live, oh, thank you. I'm glad you like them. Yeah, they're one of the cards that is in the tutorials today. I've got my coffee here. Look, I'm going to take a swig. Does anyone else drink while they watch me? And I don't necessarily mean the hard stuff. I mean, I guess we could mean the hard stuff depending on what time of day it is where you are. But it's a little bit early in the day for wine for me. So I'm on the coffee right now. All right. Okay, so I've got this piece. This is going to be my card base. I'm just going to set it to one side so that it's ready when I need it. And I'll do the same with the navy. And let's get started on this little piece of shimmery white paper, or basic white if that's what you have. Okay, you just finished your coffee and you're having lunch, Slaney. Well, you're an hour behind us too, aren't you? So Queensland do not have daylight saving, so that puts us, normally we're at the same time, but not at this time of the year. All right, so the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create the mask for my frame. Okay, so This is to go all the way around. Okay, now I have cut this out with the stitch rectangles, and I don't know if you can see, but if you look closely, can you see we get a little bit of an echo of the stitching around the edges, which actually looks kind of nice. If you get that, don't worry. I think it looks really sweet, but you may or may not get it depending on how hard you push when you're using your blending brushes. Now this is going to go in the center. All right, don't stick it down. All right, this is actually just to give me a guide, and I'll show you why. If I try and put my frame on this, it's really hard for me to see exactly if that's centered or not, okay, because I can't see the edges of it. There's a couple of ways to overcome that. One is to cut your paper to the same size as this, okay, but I didn't do that. I left it large because I wanted to show you an alternate way. That's one option. Okay, the other thing you can do is you can hold it up. I have a window that I sit in front of, and I can hold this up, and I don't know if you can see. Can you see the back? You can actually see that it's centered because I can see the paper through. So that's another way to do it as well. All right, but this is what we're going to do today. I'm going to put this piece down, and I'm going to grab, you might have seen in the supplies list I included a pencil and an eraser. Don't be alarmed, US girls, but in Australia we call that a rubber. I know that's not what you call a rubber, but in Australia an eraser is also known as a rubber. So there we go. All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm just going to use my pencil, and I'm going to draw like a little corner. You could just do a dot if you want to. And now I've got my 4 corners marked out where I want them to be. Hey Cherie, nice to see you. Oh, I love that Cobb's Natural Popcorn. That's yummy. Really, really nice. I'm a big popcorn lover. It's my favorite snack of choice. We usually cook our own just with the raw kernels, but I don't mind those Cobb's ones. They're really nice. All right, so now I've kind of got a little template for me to put right there on the corners, and I can just see my pencil marks and I can move them into the right place. Does that make sense? So then I can make sure that I can see that, and then later we'll rub out those lines. All right, so that's how that's going to go. Now on the back of the masking paper, every piece of masking paper has a split running from the short side to the opposite short side, okay, and if you peel, you can peel it back from there, so it's sticky under here, which is great. Okay, I'm just going to peel off half of it, and if you are using the masking paper you can go ahead and do that too. All right, and I'm going to put that top one right there on my pencil mark, and then the bottom one right here, and it pretty much just lines up straight up like that. I'm just going to take off the opposite because we only did half, remember. The split makes it really easy to find the line where to separate the backing paper, so it just makes it really easy. And what this also does, because it's larger, is it keeps my piece down in place. Okay, so it's stuck to my backing paper now, or you could do it to your table, but I think it's better if you've got a piece of paper underneath. I love using grid paper. I line it up straight on the grid paper. It just helps me keep everything straight and, you know, keeps my eye in, if you like. All right, so now I'm going to use this. I'm not going to use the mountain range right now, but I'll show you a use for that in a little bit. Okay, and I'm going to put this so that the bottom edge is just below the line of my frame. Does that make sense to everybody? All right, and this is where we're going to start with our ink. So I've got Night of Navy. Goodness me, that needs a clean. Shh, don't look, anyone. Don't look. That's awful. I should have cleaned it. Orchid Oasis. I keep calling it Orchid Opulence, and I noticed in one of my videos that's attached to the tutorials with this masking offering that I kept saying Orchid Opulence in one of them. So for anyone hears me say Orchid Opulence, it's not Orchid Opulence, it's Orchid Oasis. Okay, Orchid Opulence is a color we used to have a number of years ago. Some of you may remember it, some of you probably still have it, but we don't have it anymore. But I keep saying that, and it's a little bit like I say Calypso Coral, which is correct, but sometimes I don't. Sometimes I say Cameo Coral, and some of you may remember that color. That was a color that was around when I first joined, like 16 years ago. We had that color. So it's a really old color. All right, I'm opening up my Night of Navy ink, and I've got my blending brush here. Now, if you're using new blending brushes and they look beautiful like this, They will not look like that after you finish with this. They're going to look more like this. Okay. Now, you can wash blending brushes, for anyone who's wondering. I may do a one of these classes one time just on blending brush techniques, because there's so much you can do with blending brushes. I absolutely love them. They have been one of my favorite new things that Stampin' Up! Has introduced in the last 12 months or so. I should. I'd be rich if I had a swear jar for every time I said the ink names incorrectly or colors incorrectly. I'd be, yeah, I'd be poor or rich. I guess it wouldn't make any difference, seeing as I'm the one putting the money in. Oh dear. All right. So yeah, this is already inked up with Night of Navy previously, because that's what I've used it for. Once I use it for a color, I tend to keep them for that color. So I've actually got a drawer full of blending brushes that have just been used for green or just been used for pink or yellow, and I keep them for that color and just use them over and over again. But you can wash them, but they will never come back quite beautiful as this. All right, they really are pretty. Oh, you can't find them, Cherie. It's still out. You can still get that bundle. It's in our annual catalogue. Did you not know that? Let me show you. So if you love this one, it's a really good one. I bought this a couple of years ago when it first came out, because I'm, you know, a sucker for scenery types of. In fact, I'm kind of known for it. People say, "Oh, Linda's going to buy that one." Okay, there's the Mountain Air die. A stamp's there. And then the matching dies are on page 172. So where are those? Here they are. Right here. Okay. So you can still get them. All right. They're available right now. You do not need to be sad that you missed out or be disappointed because you didn't miss out. They're still available. Okay. The Majestic Mountain dies are $63 here in Australia. If anyone needs a number, let me know, or you can just look up page 172. And then what was the other page? 95. Page 95 is where the stamps are. They're not a bundle anymore, but you can still buy them separate. And they're, you know, maybe that's what you mean, that you said you didn't buy it as a bundle. But these are $35. And they're great because you can use both sides. Okay, they're actually what they call reversible stamps. As it says, stamps are reversible, ink can stamp either side. So you can create different effects, whether you use the detail side or the not detail side. I think the dies are fantastic, Donna. They're really, really good. Ah, you can't get them right now. No, I understand. Totally get it. All right, so we've got this just below here, and we're going to ink up our Night of Navy blending brush by dragging I actually push quite firmly, and it's going to be quite inky because I re-inked this a little earlier as well. And I'm going to hold this in place. Now you could stick it down, but the thing is we want to make multiple images. Can you see that? So we don't want to stick it down because we want to be able to move it. Okay. Now I did actually have one earlier, and here it is. All right, you can see this is the one I used last time. I'm actually going to use this one. All right, now if you have two, that's great. If you don't have two, you can do the whole thing like I did this one here with this particular. That's why you can see there's some purple bits there and a little bit of pink as well. Okay, but I did all of this with this one. But something I did notice was once I'd inked this up, okay, then I had Night of Navy, kind of the ink was sitting on here, and some of that transferred. So I've got some bit of navy coming through in there as well, which looks actually okay. Looks good. But if you want to keep your couple of colors separate, then you might want to use two, or you might want to kind of wipe it over before you go to the next one, and just wipe it over with maybe, you know, some tissue or something like that, and try and get rid of any surface ink. So I'm going to start right down the bottom, and I'm going to start. Who's doing it with me? Anyone doing it with me? I guess you won't be able to type and tell me because you're too busy. Too busy using your blending brushes. I'm using firm circles, and I'm going straight over this mountain range. Okay. All right, now I'm going to take it off and show you what that looks like straight away. It looks awesome. Okay, we love this. I'm going to put it back exactly where it was, which is actually really easy to do because you just follow the line. You just don't have any little white bits showing. And I'm going to push that down again and do it again. I want it darkest near the edges of the frame. Okay, so if you don't have it as dark on top, that's actually fine, because to me this looks like, tell me if I'm wrong, it looks like it could be like early dawn or maybe a late sunset, and we've got a lot of pink in the sky. Okay, this could be a moon or a sun, but to me it's kind of more like a moon, and we want some lighter bits coming from the light of whatever this is onto the tops of the hills. So if they are lighter at the top, it kind of looks good. All right. All right, so I'm going to now move this up. All right, so I'm going to go, and if I move it straight up, then the mountains are going to kind of be right in front of each other, and it doesn't look as realistic. So what I want to do is I want to move it over so that I have different mountains in the next row up. And how far to put it up, totally up to you, but not very far. We just want to create a mountain that you can see this one is looking like it's behind the other. I'm not going to add more ink to my blending brush. I'm going to hold this down so you can see I'm not using the sticky side. You can easily do this just with copy paper, okay, but I just use masking paper because that's what we were focusing on this month. But this time I'm going over it with less ink on the brush, and that's going to create a slightly lighter mountain range, and that's going to give the illusion that these ones are behind the ones in front. If you want to sharpen up the ones in front, easy to do. Just put this back down again and add more ink, and away we go again. So you can make those ones in the front darker if you want to. All right, can you see how nice that's looking? Looks good, doesn't it? All right, so let's move to our next blending brush. This one I've used, actually I just realized that I got them around the wrong way, but that's okay. Now I'm going to use Orchid Oasis. And give me a second, I'm going to get a different brush because this one's more blue and I want one that's more purple. And just, all right, so the Orchid Oasis, I said it right, is actually not as dark as the navy. And I'm going to move this again so that once again the mountains don't line up. All right, I want to have them, and each time it goes back a little further. This time we're definitely more purple than blue. Add some more ink. This is a really nice technique. Now, for those of you who are sitting there and you're thinking, well, I don't have the dies, I can't do this. Let me show you what you can do. I'm just going to finish that one. All right. And you can see now it's getting a little bit more purple as it goes backwards. Looks good, doesn't it? It does look a bit like a high desert kind of a thing. All back in the 70s, Jean. Showing your age. Just like I can remember a lot of the 70s too, don't you worry. All right, so I've got kind of navy going back into orchid. Does that make sense? I'm grabbing a piece of copy paper straight out of my printer. And let's show you another option. All right, so I've just got a piece of copy paper here. And this is something else. I'm going to close these up because I'm actually going to go to pink in a moment. So I'll close up these guys. This is something else you can do. All right, you can actually use copy paper and literally rip it across and create a mountain range with your copy paper. Now we're going to be using the piece that you cut it out of. Doesn't really matter which way. So let me just show you how that might look on a piece of white. Give me a second and I will find a piece of white just as an example. All right, so just say I want that to be my mountain range, and you'd be surprised how good this looks. Like you're thinking, yeah, it's just ripped, but it looks really, really good. Okay, and I'm going to pop that right there. Can you see it? And then we start down here. So it's different to what we were doing, but what I was saying before is you can create a similar effect just with copy paper and a good ripped edge. All right, so you can see that looks really, really cool. All right, then we move it, and remember we try and not line up. deciding where I want that to be. Okay, so then without re-inking, so this is another way you can use a very similar effect to get a similar idea. It won't be exactly the same, but it should be easy to see that you can actually get a fantastic effect just with ripped paper. Okay, you're not far in front of me, Jean. You're about 6 years. I'll be 58 next year, so there you go. Yeah, there you go. So mountains can be, you can do them all different ways. All right. So if I wanted to do, let's do another one. This time I'm going to do it in the pink. I'll get the pink out because that's the next color I'm going to use anyway on this one. Masking is just, I called it magical masking because to me it really is quite magical. You know, there's so much you can do with masking, and whoop, that moved because I'm not holding it properly. All right, so I hope that you're seeing how we could get a really nice effect with that. Okay, and you could have your mountains doing all kinds of stuff just by ripping a piece of copy paper. Okay, so this is another alternative for those of you who don't have the dies. But if you do have the dies, obviously you get something that looks probably a little bit, to me this looks very much like an Alaskan scene. Can anyone see that? Now, before I add the pink and start working on the sky, I want to actually have a little play with this little circle. Now, some of you, when I cut them out, I tried to get as many circles on a split as I could. So if you are on a split, you'll just be able to turn it over and take off the back. If you don't have a split, use a pokey tool or a sharp pair of scissors and split the edge. It takes a moment to do it, but split the edge so that it lifts like that. Okay, so there's a couple of alternatives for you if you don't have it on a split. But I'm going to put it right here. I'm going to put it up near the top in that corner. All right. And before I start working on the sky, I want to have my moon masked off. Okay, because I'm not going to color that. So now I'm going to, I've got one more. So I could put this on, but just bear in mind that our pink is going to probably pick up a little bit of ink off the top here. Okay, you could wipe that over, or you could use another one and just get purely pink if you wanted. I'm just deciding where I want my mountains to go. And you're still probably going to get a little bit of purple from what's already here on the background anyway. Right. And I could go as dark or as light as I want to. I can have a couple of rows of pink if I wanted to. Totally up to you. You can have as many rows. But this to me, because the sky is pink, it looks like this is getting the sunrise first, or whatever time of day it is, the sunset, whatever. I'm going to go a little bit darker, I think. You can have as many layers as you like. And maybe just a really tiny, tiny light bunch there in the very, very far distance. Not as dark this time. Like that. Okay. So does that kind of make sense what we're getting here? So Gina was asking if the Stampin' Up! Blending brushes were better than other kinds. Gina's saying she thinks yes. I don't have the ability to answer that question honestly because I haven't actually owned any other blending brushes before these ones. Okay, these are the first ones I ever owned. I love them. I think they're fantastic and they are definitely good quality. But Jean sounds like she might know. There you go. It does look like ranges in New Zealand. I know, right? All right, so I'm actually going to start by, I'm going to start right on top of the moon and I'm going to do a circle and just circle out. So I'm getting some good coverage in that area. All right, and then I'm going to start at the top and I'm going to kind of work my way down, but I'm going to stop short of the hills because I want it to look like the sky is lightning kind of at the top here. And by having, so we're going to add more to the top, but then we're going to stop short of the mountain range. All right, it's looking good. I think we're done. Yes, that's not a spoiler alert. I know, that's exciting. Jean is absolutely right. There's two things coming. If you like blending brushes, two things are going to make you really happy. Jean just mentioned one. The spoiler alert is that there is a brush holder coming in the new mini. So that will be a nice little house for these guys. However, there is something else. Do you remember the other thing, Jean? There's mini ones, mini little blending brushes coming in the new catalogue. So you'll have, for more detailed work, you'll have the big ones to cover a bigger area, all the small ones to work on a smaller area, and they'll be really handy for certain things. So I'm thinking with the mini brushes coming, the big brushes that we already have, and the storage container, or the storage system that's coming, I'm thinking that might be a good time for me to do some sort of blending brush class maybe, but we'll see. That might be a good one. That might be a good one for a CraftAlong 1 month. What do people think? Would you like to do something with blending brushes? And I've thought of some other things I'd like to do. I'd like to do a spritzing one because I love to spritz. That's always a lot of fun. I'm going to lift this up carefully. I'm actually done with all the colouring on this. Just pulling it up. Now you do, even though masking paper is low tack compared to say other glues and things, you don't want to rip it off, okay, because you could take the surface, if you go too fast, you can take the surface off your project, and you don't want to do that. So I'm going to go slowly and I'm just going to peel it back, but I'm going to take my time because I don't want to ruin anything about this because it's looking really good. Can you see what I mean about the little bit of stitching coming through here? See that? That's come straight through the stitching that I used to cut the rectangle, the stitch rectangle. So I'm going nice and slow, so I don't rush it. You'll be sad if you rip anything off this. That'd be very sad. But it's looking really good. All right, here's our little project. Here we go. So Jean was saying she's tried some Amazon brands of brushes and some similar makeup brushes and have yet to get better results than the Stampin' Up ones. No, I haven't, and I press pretty hard when I use my blending brushes. I hadn't even thought about breaking handles, but yeah, they seem pretty strong, so so that's a good thing. All right, so this is nearly to ready stage. One thing I want to do is I want to come back in with my pencil, my eraser here, and I'm going to rub out these pencil marks I made in the corner earlier. So I'm going to tidy those up. So if you have pencil marks in the corners of yours, you might want to tidy them up. And the fourth corner here. All right. And then, of course, the last thing, it feels like the big reveal. The last thing to do is to remove the moon. Is it a moon? I think it's a moon. Maybe this is a moonlight. Look at that. Isn't that lovely? Looks really, really good. Yeah, the colors are nice, aren't they? Pinks and purples. You can't go too wrong with that. When I was a kid, I was crazy for pink and purple. I mean, these days I'm more of a blue and green girl. But when I was a kid, I loved my pinks and purples. All right. So we're just about ready to start putting this together now. So it's going to go on our, where did I put it? I moved it over here earlier. And then I put a million things on top of it. Here it is. Night of Navy piece. You can use whatever glue or adhesive you like for this. I'm a fan of Tombow Multipurpose because it takes a moment to dry, which gives me time to wiggle it into place while it's still wet. Makes it easier for me. But if you prefer tape, go ahead, or seal, or whatever it is that you happen to like. All right, let's pop this in the middle of the Night of Navy base there, the mat. Right, and then I'm going to put that on top of the folded cardstock, the piece of basic white cardstock that we folded at the beginning. All right, so let's pop this together. Someone asked me how long these CraftAlong videos are, and I try and keep them to around about an hour. So if ever you're wondering, it's about an hour on a Saturday afternoon. Hopefully it doesn't take up too much of your busy weekend. All right, so this is looking really, really pretty. I love the colors. I think it's working really well. The other thing that we've got that we haven't used yet is this little label. And as for a greeting, you could go with anything. Now, if you want this to be for a masculine card, would you give pink and purple mountains to a guy? What do you think? Could we make this? Oh, yeah. I would have been upset if I got a smudge on the border too. And it's entirely possible, Cherie, but it's on your screen. I see. So there you go. All right. So this is a lot of fun. I think this card could be given to a guy or a girl. I would. Exactly, Cherie. That's a good answer. Good answer. Okay. So I have got my little label here, and I'm going to go in and put some words on, and there's lots of different stamp sets we have that you could put. This Explore would work really well, I think, on a card, but I thought I would use Enjoy Today because this is from a set that I would describe as could be a guy set or a girl set, a camping set, but good for masculine cards if you're wondering. Now I've already taken this out. Where did I put it? Here it is. I was trying to be organized and get things out ahead of time, and then I totally forgot and went looking for it. So I've got my Enjoy Today little stamp here, and just make sure I haven't picked up too much ink. I always check with these little stamps. It's so easy to pick up extra ink and you then transfer it to your label, and that's not good. So I'm going to bring my head in to get this right over the top. And I'm just going to pop that down. And we're going to pop this right over this edge here. Okay, now we are covering up a bit of our Night of Navy. I might go down a little lower, actually, because I don't want to cover up quite so much of my mountains. And I'm going to pop them on dimensionals. What do you think? And you could add, you know, obviously you could add bling or ribbon or whatever to this. If Jodie was here, I know she would tell us to add some bling. Maybe we will. But it's the kind of card that you don't really need to add anything because the masking is so awesome that you kind of don't need it. So let's throw that in there. All right, shall we add bling? What do you think? I could add some. I've got some different bling that we could use, like maybe we could do iridescent rhinestones, of course, they're my favorite. Or we could add, what do you think, guys? Some silver. Maybe that would just be nice. Some little silver from the Festive Pearls. Just a little silver pearl there. I think that might be nice. Nice and simple. And not too girly either if you wanted to give it to a guy. There you go, just like that. And there we go. We have a card. We have a card that we finished. We have an alternative idea for those of you who don't have the idea of the dies to start thinking about other ways that you create mountains. But it is a little easier. It looks a little bit more realistic with the dies. But if you don't have them, you can have some fun with some ripped paper and mountains. It does. I know, Donna. I know. Really does. I looked at it and didn't realize how bad it was before this video, and I'm sort of already recording and thinking, oh dear, that's appalling. That Night of Navy needs a good clean. So guess what I'm doing after this video? Well, the first thing I'm doing is I'm heading over to my blog so that you guys have got somewhere to go to purchase the tutorials if you would like them. And would you like to see the other cards? Right, so here are the other mask cards. This one I've already showed you because this is the first one where I masked the little kitty cat so he's in front of the basket. So that was a fun project. And we've got Crumpet and we've got Merlot. And then I did the same technique with which is just masking with something in front. These are the flowers from the True Beauty stamp set. And as you can see, I have masked them so that the leaves look like they're coming from behind the flowers, and also some flowers look like they're in front of others. Okay, so this is a fun little card, really easy to get this effect, and I think that you'll enjoy. I really think you'll like all of these. Now this one specifically isn't in the tutorials, but you can see this is exactly the same idea as this one. Okay, I even used the same colors, the whole thing. It turned out really pretty. I'll post this one later in the week, but this flower here is in the front and these two are behind, these two are behind, and then we've got leaves coming out from behind the flowers as well as a bit of foliage there. So they turned out really, really nice. I'm really, really happy with how. Oh, we didn't put any birds on. We didn't put any birds on. It does need birds across the moon. It does. You are correct. All right, let's go back and do that. All right, here we go. Here's our card. And remember, I was saying before that the birds from the stamps, this stamp set, have gone AWOL. They've disappeared. But I'm going to use a bird from a different set. This one is the Waves of Inspiration. And I'll pull in my very unsightly Night of Navy ink pad. And now, see what's happened here. Can you see what's happened? I picked up extra ink. So easy to do with little stamps. Little stamps or long skinny stamps. Really easy to over ink them. So I'm actually going to clean it up and try again. And this time I'm going to just kind of tap really gently. And that's much better. All right, so let's try. There's one birdie. How many birds should we have? 1, 2, 3? Just one looks good, but maybe we'll have a couple more. I don't know. Definitely. First person to answer. How many birds should we have? 2. 2, says Cherie. Okay. All right, so I'm going to have another one up here. There we go. 2. Does that look better? What do you think? There you go. You got your birdies. All right, so next card in the tutorials. So all the tutorials for these cards I'm showing you, okay, for this one and for this one, okay, I really like this card. This turns out, this is just one of the little note cards that we have. You could do the same card on a normal size card, but I kind of liked it on the note card. I thought that was really cute, and I'll show you how to do this bit of masking and creating a little scene with a window. So there's a tutorial for this as well. Then this one is masking off a strip on a more of a solid, busier background. So this one is using the, what's this stamp? It's called Pretty Medallion, and it's in our annual catalogue, and I've masked off an area and applied a greeting down through the centre. So there's a tutorial for that one. And then this one is kind of more like an Australian bush Christmas to me. So this is like a little window Christmas card, and we've masked off an area similar to what we did in our card today, but also done some stamping over the edges, and I've showed you how to do that as well. No trouble at all. So these tutorials for these are available for 20 Australian dollars. If you live in the US, that's not very much because Australia's dollars are not worth very much. But all of these cards are featured in the tutorial bundle that is available for sale on the blog. Okay, now I'm not, it'll probably be up there. I'm hoping as soon as I finish this video that I'll pop over there straight away and get it listed up there. So there's 2 places. You can either find it in the main body of the blog, or at the very top, there's a little section that says tutorials for sale. Okay, if you go in there, this one's for sale, and also last month's, if you missed last month's or the month before. Okay, there's some others, and I'm going to be adding to that. So you'll notice that there's more and more tutorials for sale in that little area at the top of the blog. It's a page at the top. Okay, so those are the cards that are going to be featured in the tutorials that are available. Do you have a favorite? This is my favorite. I actually really love this card. I think it turned out really pretty. Only 3 thumbs up. Well, hopefully lots of people will enjoy it and watch it. That's the most important thing, okay? Oh, that's good. That's fantastic, Cherie. I'm really happy that you're feeling inspired. That's awesome. That's awesome. So these are the 5 cards in the tutorials, plus, of course, there'll be instructions or measurements and so forth for this one. All the measurements are in there as well. There's a PDF with measurements and links to all individual videos for each one. Okay, so I'm hoping that lots of you will jump in and grab those if that's something that you would like. How did we go today? Don't forget, if you're in my team, do not purchase the tutorials. You're going to get them anyway. Okay, they'll be sent to you. And if you placed an order last month, then you'll also get them. Now, if you haven't yet placed an order in November, it's not too late to get in for the December craft along. So the December craft along, let me give you the details of that right now. Okay, the December craft along will be Saturday the 17th of December, same time, same place. So 2 p.m. again. And for those of you in the US, it'll be whatever time in the evening that works out to be. But we're going to be making gift card holders and possibly a treat holder or two. Okay, I haven't decided about the treat holder yet, but definitely we're doing gift cards. Okay, and I figured because it's the week before Christmas, I figured that some of you may be looking for gift card holders. It's a really nice way to finish off a gift that you know, a quick and easy gift. Gift cards are often quick and easy gifts, but by putting it into a gift card holder that you made yourself, you could just add that next level of thoughtfulness to it, and it makes it really special. So that's my intention. And I figured at that time, some people may be looking for some great gift card holder ideas. So so that's what we're going to be doing in December. And I know it's the week before Christmas and a lot of people may not be available. That's okay too. You can always watch the replay. Same with this one. You can always watch the replay for these. Okay. So every month, because I'm going live publicly, the replays are permanently available. Okay. I think we did good. And I kept it to under an hour. What do you think? Does anyone have any questions? Oh, Cherie, that doesn't sound good. Are you okay? You like the cats and the flowers? Yeah, they're very nice, aren't they? Thank you. Anybody have any questions before we head off this afternoon? So I'm going to pop the banner up on the bottom of the screen again. That's where you go to purchase the tutorials, lhiggins.blogspot.com. And it's also where you go if you want to see more creations that I post as often as I can there. So I post on Instagram daily and my Facebook page daily, and then my blog is more like once or twice a week. So so hopefully you've enjoyed that today. I hope everyone has a fantastic weekend, what's left, and many of you, I hope to see you tomorrow night on our Sunday night live video. Thank you so much, everyone. We'll be back soon and enjoying all of the bits and pieces that we need to play with all over the weekend. Okay, Cherie, good luck with that. I hope it goes well. Yeah, get better soon. Okay, thanks, guys. See you tomorrow night. Bye-bye.